Hey everyone, this is Mike, and with our current expansion now being complete with content, I wanted to look forward to the next one and talk about some stuff that we can do to prepare for Endwalker. Do you need to do any of this stuff? Absolutely not, but it is something that can keep you busy until the next event rolls around or until Endwalker comes out if you're already done with all of the current content that Shadowbringers has to offer. So today is going to be about leveling our two new jobs, Reaper and Sage. Whether you want to just take a chill and level one on the side after you're done with the main scenario on your main job, or if you want to level one on day one so that you can take it through the MSQ instead. I'll go over the different ways that you can level them for both of these scenarios, and then I'll also go over some of the stuff that you might want to prepare depending on what you plan to do. So let's start off with the different things that you can do to level in a general sense. These things will be useful if you plan to take things slow, and even if you want to level as fast as possible, or of course if you're just looking to change things up a little bit from your leveling grind. Roulettes are always going to be one of the best sources of experience, it's no secret, with leveling and main scenario roulette being some of the best, but MSQ roulette also takes a very long time to complete. It's always the same two dungeons, so I could see why you wouldn't want to do that one every single day. Outside of these two, Alliance and Trial Roulette are also good options. If you're interested in PvP, then Frontline is also a good choice. The rest are things that you can do to switch things up a bit, but they aren't as worth it as the other ones that I just mentioned. While you're queuing for any of these roulettes, you can also do some other stuff to keep yourself busy. My two go-to options would be Beast Tribes and Hunts. This time around, the Pixies are the only battle beast tribe that we got in Shadowbringers, so we're a bit more limited than in previous expansions. And then our daily hunt marks are ones that you can pick up from the Crystarium, and those are also decent experience. There's also a website called Hunt Pathfinder where you can just input all of the hunt marks and it will plan out the most efficient route for you to go grab them all. So while the experience from these two things isn't amazing, they are still worth doing while you're just waiting around for your queue to pop. If you've done both of these things and you're still queuing for your roulette, then you can always start doing fates, but if your queue pops before you can finish the fate, then it's kind of wasted effort, so it's up to you whether or not you want to do that. When we are talking about grinding out the levels as fast as possible, then there are going to be two main options, dungeons and Bozja. I feel like the EXP gains in Zadnor are slightly higher than inside of Bozja, but the spawn rate for skirmishes in Bozja is faster, so that is why my recommendation goes out to Bozja if that is what you want to do instead of inside of Zadnor. The main reason why we go into Bozja is because we didn't get a deep dungeon this time around. So both of these options will become available at level 71, so you will still need to do some of the stuff that I mentioned before to get there in the first place, and from there on out it is pick your poison. Dungeons have always been a great way for you to level quickly, but because this is the start of a new expansion, it will probably be hard to find groups to run these dungeons consistently. We have a healer and 2 DPS slots filled already, but there's no new tank in Endwalker, so most people that are looking to play tank in the new expansion will probably already level that to 80 before the expansion comes out. So because of this, I would personally go inside of Bozja instead, as there is no role requirement over there. You just be grinding skirmishes and critical engagement, and then of course you can also head into Castrum, as it is also a good source of experience. Just make sure that you bring a tank essence in case there is no tank around, because of course everybody will be grinding Sage and Reaper in there. And then of course, when reset rolls around, you can just take a break from the Bozja grind to go and do your roulettes again. So those are the things that you can do when you're looking to level up, by either taking it slow using your daily activities, or if you want to level as fast as possible. So what can we do to make this leveling process go faster? Well, there's actually a lot of things that you can do depending on how much time you are willing to invest right now. You can quite literally do nothing, because you will be given job gear when you first unlock Reaper and Sage, or you can go complete balls to the wall with preparing for Bozja related stuff. I'll cover all of the different things that you can do, and then you can choose yourself how far you are willing to go, because all of this is optional. So let's start with minimal effort. You can pick up item level 400 augmented tombstone gear in Ralger's Reach for when you first pick up the jobs. If you look back at Dancer and Gunbreaker, they were given item level 255 gear, and the highest that we could get back then was 270. So while it's not a huge difference, the higher item level gear will still be better. And seeing how you can buy this level 70 gear with Tombstones of Poetics, it's really not that hard to get a full set of item level 400 gear, and this will help you for when you're doing the hunts, and it will also help you when you end up getting a Shadowbringers dungeon for your leveling roulette. You can also do something similar for when you hit level 80, as you can already get the best in slot gear for Dragoon and healers, and the only thing that you will need to get when the expansion comes out is a new weapon, which again, looking back at Dancer, we could buy both the raid weapon and the augmented tombstone weapon, so you can either save a weapon coffer or 8 books from E12 Savage, or prepare some tokens and the upgrade item if you want to get the tombstone weapon instead. Those are the two things that I would say are normal things you can do to prepare for our new jobs, as they will be helpful for when you're leveling from 70 to 80, and then we will also have some gear ready for when you do get to level 80, regardless of if you want to level it on the side or if you want to level it as fast as possible. If you're grinding inside of Bozja, then you won't really need the level 70 gear as much, but it will still serve a little bit of a purpose for when you're doing the hunts or when you're doing your roulettes, and again, it's really not that expensive to get, so you might as well just go grab it. For those that are planning on grinding inside of Bozja and want to do so as fast as possible, there are a few things that you can do. You can get yourself strong fragments, get yourself upgraded resistance gear, and acquire all of the resistance honors. Let's take them one at a time. Fragments are easy to get. Just hop into either Bozja or Zadnor and start cluster farming. You can use the clusters to buy the fragments that give you the essences that you need for either the healers or the melee DPS jobs. Whether you go farm them inside of Bozja or inside of Zadnor depends on which of the other two things you are working on as well. If you're in need of Bozjan coins for the resistance gear, then you grind inside of Bozja and jump into Castrum when that spawns. If you're trying to get your resistance honors up, then grind inside of Zadnor and hop into Dalriada when that spawns. If you feel like you've collected enough clusters, then you can farm these other two resources directly. The honors are the easiest to get, although it will take quite some time to get them all. My personal priority list would be damage, then defense, then healing, although if you want to max all of them out, then by all means do so. It will only make you stronger. I feel like damage is going to be the most valuable if you're looking to speed things up, although defense will also be very useful for when you do a custom run when there is no tank around. Easiest way for you to farm honors is to go into Zadnor and then just do the fates there. Skirmishes, critical engagements, and Dalriada will all give you metal, which is the resource that you need in order to get your honors upgraded. Simple as that, but it just takes a very long time to get everything upgraded. For your resistance gear, things are a little bit more spread out over where you go to grind for your gear. Your first stop will be Bozja. You can buy the base gear with Bozjan coins, and then you can upgrade that gear with an upgrade item that can either come as a random drop from Castrum, you can buy it for a lot of Bozjan coins from a vendor, or you can buy it from the market board. So it's either get lucky inside of Castrum, get a lot of Bozjan coins if you're unlucky, or spend some gil. The choice is yours. We then need to acquire Delubrum normal mode gear. This is purchased using gold coins that can be obtained from Delubrum chests as a random drop, from a weekly quest inside of Gangos, or by trading in the silver coins that are a guaranteed drop from Delubrum. The final step is then to combine the augmented Bozja gear with the Delubrum normal mode gear using an upgrade item that comes from Delubrum Savage, and this upgrade item is semi-random, so you can get all the upgrades that you need in 5 runs, but if RNG isn't in your favor, then you will most likely have to do 10 runs to get them all. If you're not planning on doing any Delubrum Savage runs, then you can also skip on the Delubrum normal gear, because the augmented Bozja gear is going to be stronger. The difference between the upgraded Bozja gear and the upgraded Delubrum gear is 1 haste. So while it does make a difference, if you can't get enough DR Savage clears to upgrade your gear in the first place, then it's not the end of the world. The item level increase and the materia slots aren't important inside of Bozja anyways. There's also an earring that you can get from an achievement for which you need to appraise 1000 forgotten fragments, and this earring can be used on all of your jobs. And those would be the things that you can do if you want to be as strong as possible inside of the Bozjan zones. Personally, I would get some of the clusters, as that is fairly easy to get. If you have some gil lying around, you could also augment your Bozja gear for that haze buff. If you're able to do DR Savage, you can upgrade it again, but if not, it's not the end of the world if you are unable to do so. You also need to remember the gear that you need to get will be separate for both Sage as well as Reaper, so you'll need to grind out 2 gear sets if you want to do so. The honors are something that can come naturally, as you can grab as many as you can afford while farming for the current relics, for example, and of course if you want to spend the extra time, you can just grind out the honors if you want to do so. And that would be my list from low effort to high effort for when you want to prepare for Sage and Reaper. Of course, if you're not planning on grinding either of these jobs out inside of Borja, then you can pretty much skip the second half of the video, but I would still recommend you to grab the level 70 and level 80 gear, as that will come in handy for just about everyone. If you have anything to add to that, or if you have any questions, then feel free to write a comment down below. And on that note, I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.